Anybody can win.
Oh, and looks like we're off. So since you kind of dissected it yourself, do you want to explain Furnace Fun moves, Cole?
Furnace Fun moves. That's cheating. I can't believe they are letting them do this in a speedrunning race.
NotDavie missing the backflip once. Not too big of a deal. They just gotta go through Spiral Mountain here and get all these honeycombs. So yeah, Furnace Fun moves.
One second.
Okay. So Dickhiskhan with a little bit of a lead at the start here. So in Spiral Mountain, the fastest form of movement is roll fluttering, and your roll is about 1/5 faster than just running around or fluttering. So you want to maximize the rolling as much as you can. And if you flutter quickly, then you actually can just touch the ground and start a new roll really fast. So that's what they're trying to do throughout the entirety of Spiral. And then there's a trick coming up called Bottle Skip. Bottles usually talks to you at the top of Spiral Mountain and wants to tell you, hey, go fight the witch, she's up there. And if you land on this really small spot on the top, you can jump right over and not activate him, and looks like both of them got the skip. Good for them. Dick with about a 3 or 4 second lead so far.
Okay, I finished setting up everything.
Okay.
Alright, so Furnace Fun moves. So the reason why Furnace Fun moves and works in the first place is because Furnace Fun is a special place in the map where the game actually just takes away your moves when you walk on the board in that map. And before this reason, the game temporarily stores what moves you currently have, so it knows what to give them back to you when you leave the board. So and there's a few conditions that the game has that gives you back your moves, which is walk off the tile, if you die in the room, or if you leave through any loading zone in the layer.
And the layer loading zone actually in the real run here is when you enter Mumbo's Mountain. So right now, this is where the game decides, hey, I'm going to give you all your moves that you knew. So that's why you can see they already have Talon Trot, they already have Beak Buster, and they actually opted in their setup files to not learn eggs or feathers because the resources that Bottles gives you are so precious. And it takes a long time to collect them, run around, rather than just talking to them for the extra couple seconds to learn the move. And they're scaling Ticker's Tower here with Talon Trot, which is really tricky and requires some precise jumps, but they both do it pretty fast. Dick still with that about 3 or 4 second lead.
It's still the beginning of the race. Anything can happen in this level. Just smallest thing in this level can lose you a bit of time. Because this level is basically all movement.
All movement and then conga.
And then conga.
And then the Jinjo skip at the end.
And Konga's really fun because he has a bunch of RNG factors, like you can beat his chest when you jump up to him. We'll see if that happens to anyone.
Dick and Davey both taken a slightly different route on the hill. Those platforms, it doesn't really matter too much. There is a fastest way, but some people prefer certain paths. And
It's
it looks
all
like Davey
about-
missed one of the orange pads.
It's all about manipulating your camera. And if you have a camera that works for you, you can probably end up being faster than trying to do it the most optimal way. Because going in a straight line with a good camera can sometimes be faster than trying to go in a weird angle with a weird camera
Ooh,
angle.
and Dick actually gets knocked off by Conga there with the orange, so Davey catches up. And
So,
looks like
this is
Conga's
gonna
a
be
little
a
bit
problem
broken.
here.
Yeah. Okay,
There you
so
go.
there we go. He fixed it.
Oh.
Then he missed again.
Yeah, so what happened there was you saw that egg hit Conga and didn't do anything. Is if you get hit by Conga, for some reason you're not allowed to hit him again until he beats his chest.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And
And
with
beating
that,
his chest is random, so that could actually take up to like another 10 seconds to hit him again. So he got lucky there that he was able to do it pretty fast.
yeah. But with that, Davey takes the lead by a couple seconds. Oh, misses a couple notes. Now you could do this hut section in one go if you had eggs learned before the run, but it still ends up not being faster because running around collecting 50 eggs is just a big waste of time. Almost synced
Oh,
here,
they're
really.
almost back together. Juju could very well put them back, change positions, because Juju is known to just mess people up because it lags.
For some reason, when you shoot an egg in the very first one, there's actually a small delay, and it takes a little bit longer for the second hitbox to appear rather than the fourth one. And actually,
both got it pretty well.
yeah, they both got it, and they're almost exactly tied right now. This is a really close race.
And so coming up here is the first big skip of the run, where you got to do the jiggy jig skip with the blue Jinja. Sure, most of you guys have now seen it. But so you're able to skip jiggy dances by doing certain things, like getting hit as you pick up a jiggy, or going into water when you pick up a jiggy, or getting jiggies in flight.
So this jiggy, for some reason, it just flies way up in the air when
They
when
both
it
got it.
spawns, and you can jump and then land in the water as you're grabbing it, and then you just jump in the water, and then it skips the dance, and then you don't have to watch the long 10 jiggy dance.
Dick fell and put him behind, and now NotDavie is ahead, leaving Mumbo's Mountain.
So you're able to get up the mountain there without the termite using slope glitch, and there's an interesting property where if your slope is on flat ground, you can't slide, and then if you go on a hill, there's a timer within the game that starts counting up to about 1 second. It's actually slightly faster ticking up when you're in Town Trot, which is bizarre because Talon Trot is what lets you go on slips in the first place. But if you go back over flat ground, as long as your shadow touches it, the timer resets. So doing that, you're able to do some interesting movement to get up the tower there without using the termite.
So because we have Furnace Fun moves, we're able to now open Clankers and Treasure Trove Cove at the same time when going through this room. Saving some
saves.
time there.
Yeah, it saves about 20 seconds or so from having to take a return trip to that room.
So now they're both heading straight to the Treasure Trove Cove, the second level, and some consider the most annoying level because it's pretty difficult flying sections right at the beginning of the run. That if you fail them, easily kill your run.
Yeah, landing in one of the flight sections is usually between a 20 to 30 second time limit, depending on where you land.
So
Really
Davey
neat
here
little
did
trick here.
both got it. Nice.
Banjo-Kazooie found that if you flutter against that little fence, you actually build up some downward speed, and when it lets go, you can just get the Jinjo without actually diving in the water.
So that actually saves a bit of time if done pretty fast. So now they're collecting some gold for Blubber, which is more RNG in the run. Blubber can just wander around the ship and be in a pad position. It can be in Africa.
Or Antarctica. And again, we need these feathers for these flying sections. Otherwise, if we didn't have these resources, you'd have to spend extra time in TTC just running around collecting feathers on trees and whatnot. And if you mess up a flight section, you have to use extra feathers too. And it's just not good if you don't have those resources. Looks like Davey's going to get Blubber
Davey got
here.
a good Blubber.
And Dick, unfortunately, doesn't? Or will he get it? Oh,
He's just barely off, but not a terrible Blubber position.
Yeah.
Let's see if Dick triggers Brad here. No.
Nope, both of them don't.
Dang.
Alright, so Davey manages to get that note without landing. Let's see how Dick does here. And he also does the same.
He should be fine. Now they're gonna beak bomb over to this X because beak bombs are fast.
Beak bomb's one of the really useful moves you get.
Oh, Dick doesn't make it up there.
A little bit too low, but thankfully he didn't fall all the way down. That would be a really unfortunate time loss.
Both are playing it safe.
The ladders can be really tricky here because it's just so small, like the amount of space you have to get these notes, and the camera ends up being really weird. Also, one thing we didn't explain was quick diving. So if you are sliding in Talon Trot and you let go of Z, you just simply exit Talon Trot, and in that animation, if you fall into water, the game doesn't start applying the water physics until after that animation is over. So you simply start falling really fast in the water at your normal gravity fall speed. So that's a good way to just quickly descend in the water. Both of them managed to not land in the alcove.
So they're trying to grab as many jiggies as they can in flight. As you see, we've already grabbed quite a few already, and we'll grab some more in a bit. Because all of those save all the jiggy dances, saving like 4 seconds each time you do it. I'm going to try to do a quick dive here to get this honeycomb. Davey doesn't get it.
If you miss that there
you go.
Snacker can be a problem, because sometimes he can kind of trap you against the wall. And actually, with missing that quick dive, Dick catches up, so they're about tied again.
Now we got Nipper here. Nipper can kill some runs. They both got Nipper skip. By landing inside of him, as the cutscene starts, he doesn't have a hitbox. And you don't take damage, and so you're able to hit him inside of him, beating the boss fast.
Oh. Okay, Davey taking it safe there, doesn't want to die.
Oh, Dick is down to 1 health. This can be scary, but there shouldn't be too much left that can kill him.
Now you can go to the right and use the shock spring pad, but it's actually a little bit faster to do this jump off this tree. And you can just barely get up onto that X. Oh, and he misses a note.
So what they're gonna do here is get Leaky from up top, saving a bit of time, then going all the way down to him by pooping eggs from up here.
Alright, Dick gets it. And Davey does as well. The tricky part about that is most people have a setup. for a specific spot on the ground or something, or a camera angle. But the tricky part about it is egg bounces are actually random in a way. So even with your setup, you can still miss it every now and then, because sometimes the eggs will just bounce the right way and it'll bounce right over.
Oh, and Dick
Leaky.
snipes that honeycomb, which is really good.
Oh, and then he
Oh
lands.
no,
though.
he lands! No!
Oh.
This is probably the hardest flight section of TTC, because you gotta do a bunch of things, collect a bunch of things, and do a bunch of precise speak bombs.
And
So
with
Dick is
that-
now gonna fall behind because of all of this.
And he
Oh,
fell
wait.
again. Thankfully, he knows the backup there. Davey managing to get maybe about a 10-second lead on him now.
Dick needs to be careful here.
Oof.
Oh,
That was so close.
I was scared there for a second.
Oh. Okay, well, he manages to get out alive, and Davey about to grab the X Jiggy here. He doesn't want to pick up that health, and manages to dodge it.
So now they're gonna go to the sandcastle puzzle, which isn't much of a puzzle. You just have to spell out Banjo-Kazooie using the tiles, and it's written on the wall in case you don't know how to spell it.
It's also written on your game cartridge.
That too.
And we're also going to be able to skip this Jiggy dance here by actually dying as we collect it. If you get hit by the crab before you touch the ground, you die with the Jiggy in your hand, and the game still gives it to you anyways, even though you didn't watch the dance. So Davey's going to go for it here, down to 1 health.
We've been talking about dying, but what's so bad about dying? Well, in this game, if you die, you lose all note progress in this level. So if you die, let's say with 70 notes, you'll have to recollect all 70 notes again before you can catch back up to where you were. So that's why dying can be so bad in this game.
And both of them managed to get the skip there. Davey, again, with looks like about a 10-second lead here, coming out of TTC. You also lose your Jinjos, so if you didn't get the Jinjo Jiggy, you also have to recollect those if you die. Going in this room to activate this cauldron for later, because the Click Clock Wood puzzle is actually really close by here, but you can't open it right now. You have to hit a switch later on in the lair.
The Japanese version does make you spell Banjo-Kazooie. They didn't change any of that. So here they are now entering Clankers.
Clanker's Cavern is mostly comprised of a bunch of cycles. Clanker, from the moment you enter the level, is on kind of like a floating up and down cycle. And this affects the position of the tooth where you enter, the bolt that is at his spout, and the tail and the fins, and that affects your movement in the level a lot. So missing one cycle is about 10 seconds, or 7 seconds per tooth cycle.
Ooh, Dick misses that token there. That could come to cost him later, because that's one of the fastest tokens.
You know, some people skip that on purpose because it lets you actually slightly make the cycle easier. But I'm not sure if I didn't see he missed it on accident or on purpose.
He might have skipped it on purpose.
I know King KC skips it on purpose. So Davey here going for, I think, the regular tooth cycle. And Dick is gonna go for, he actually got the bubble on the way down. Oh, but he misses that note, just barely.
Oh, having some trouble there. So now it actually did cost him missing that token.
Yep, so now he's probably gonna make about the same cycle as Davey here. It gets really awkward when you don't when this doesn't go as planned down here because of gloop and the bubbles, and you need to have enough air to make it back up before you drown, as well as try to make the tooth. Okay, so Davey's got 4 segments of air, which is definitely enough to make it.
You
so
need you need to have 3 segments of air in order to not drown. So he's good.
4 is comfortable, and it lets you make a more direct path to the platform where you shoot the tooth. Dick is also good on air, so no worries about drowning here. Davey looks like he's gonna make this tooth cycle. Alright, he's in. So Davey gained about 10 more seconds there with the cycle here. About 16 seconds.
So now they're coming up to a ring mini game where they got to jump through rings. Let's see what time they get on these rings. So a 21 is pretty good, and then a 22 is really good. And if you do some slight mess ups, you'll get around a 19 and a 20.
Hardest part being landing this backflip on that ring, which unfortunately Davey does not get. Landing allows you to just flutter afterwards and not slowly fall into the water. Dick gets it though. Oh, and Davey misses that ring.
Davey misses the final ring. Tried to cut it too close. Looks like Dick might get a 22. High 21.
Okay. So he gained a little bit of time there on Davey. Now we're going to take the bolt up, and after we get this jiggy up top, there's a trick called bolt jump, where if you jump from the bolt platform with a really precise jump, you can make it onto the pipe on the side of the level with the notes on it. And he just barely jumps too late, and he unfortunately doesn't get it, but he can do the normal cycle here. Let's see if Dick manages to get it. And he got it.
Oh, he got it. Nice.
All right. So the Beak Buster move actually propels you up in the air for a few frames, so
can help you
lets you get a little bit of
get
extra
up
height.
there if you're too low. You got to be careful, because if you beak bust too soon, then you won't make it either, because you're not close enough to the pole.
Alright, and they both get the honeycomb backflip. If you bear punch and then backflip immediately after, you can backflip while falling in, and then just simply backflip right back up, and then you don't have to fall down. And they're basically tied again, but let's see what cycle they're going to make here.
Told you guys this is going to be a close race.
And honeycomb backflip takes quite a few years to get good at, so, you know, Dick and Davey are both pretty good.
And Davey there missed getting into the bolt, so he got those notes over there, because he had nothing better to do. Because he had to wait for the bolt to go back up in order to enter. I'm assuming you're talking a mid-air jump from where the Champa area is to the honeycomb box. You can do a mid-air jump there, but you won't make a faster cycle. It's just for swag, in terms of RTA-wise.
It does save time. It can make up for a mistake earlier on. It saves maybe about a second or second and a half or something.
Yeah, so in this room, if you're just on this crease over here, you won't get hit by the fan blades. They really programmed that room well.
And we are forced to learn Wonder Wing in the run because you can't get to this room without flying.
And so this level was routed so you'd get the purple Jinjo last underwater, skipping the dance. Which is nice. There's not much left in this level. Let's just jump up here and get this Jiggy. Then we're gonna head to the Snippets area.
Snippets are these 4 crabs you gotta kill, and when you kill them, the Jiggy spawns. And the goal is to kill all of them and then make it on top of where the Jiggy spawns so that you can grab it as it's spawning. Unfortunately, sometimes the Snippets are in bad locations, or your egg bounces just don't work out. And let's see how Dick does here.
He didn't charge at him, so he wasn't in a great position, but he was able to poop eggs down from up top to get where the Jiggy spawned. Will Davey make it? Davey made it.
And Davey made it too. Pretty good. Now we got what's called the swim. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can go for the honeycomb first, which is over towards the fin. Or you can go for this Jiggy in the tunnel. And the goal is to drown at the end of this section. And that brings you back to the entrance to the level. So Davey, it looks like he's going to go for the notes, and then the honeycomb, and then the Jiggy. As long as you get all this stuff in the same swimming section, you are all good. But if you miss anything, you have to come all the way back and then Death Warp again, which is about a 45-second to like a minute time. And both of them look like they have good movement. Dick's just got to get the honeycomb here.
And so by drowning underwater, it's a way to Death Warp back to beginning, because as you see, getting the honeycomb fills up your health, so you wouldn't be able to Death Warp anyways. Very fast.
Alright, so they both successfully complete the swim. And now they're both done with clankers and headed to go open Bubblegoop Swamp. Still really close.
Let's see if you'll make past the Champa. No problem. People have been known to get hit by that Champa. There's even one person who died to that Champa twice. Same run. Very hard trick to get past him. And so now they're just opening Bubblegoop Swamp.
A level that also is a little bit cycle-based. There's 5 little crocodiles throughout the level that you have to shoot eggs into, and they open their mouths and close them. And so those are essentially cycles. And depending on your movement in the level, you will make certain cycles.
And because of how the crocodiles are placed around the level, it makes for routing the level hard, because you have to go to the next section that has the crocodiles, because they go in order. So that makes the level no fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not much you can do with routing it. It's just you...
We've tried so hard to change the route in that level so many times, and it just never happens.
Yep.
There's been a few changes and improvements into some sections, like at the beginning here with the cattail that has been changed recently. It's slightly faster, and you get a token.
And we're going to go open the 5th level for Zizi Peak before we enter, actually. It's back here. The game intends for you to come back here to open it with the transformation, the Croctus, but you can just use a slope glitch to kind of jump over these sides of the pipe without taking any damage. Open the level and head on back. And we do want to be at full health entering this level, so both of them are going to break this beehive. Oh, Dick actually is opting not to.
You don't need to break the beehive with this route.
Oh, that's right, because of the cattail thing, you don't have to.
Yes. If you'll be at 1 health after this section if you do it correctly.
Right. But if
Which
you
can be
take an extra
scary,
damage, you have to get it.
Because
Yeah.
if you take an extra damage anywhere in the level, you're dead.
Both of them get the croc. And so he gets the leaf boat, and he's going to climb the cattail. And from here, you can actually just jump right onto the egg, rather than using the shock spring pad. Oh, and he misses the ground pound, which is going to cost him a cycle later. Davey gets it. Both of them are fine on health. And now a good time for this timer jiggy is like a 17. So we'll see how they do. And Dick's gonna miss this cycle, get this one. And he actually gets an 18, that's really good.
Alright, so now he's gonna jump down to these golden flibbits. And so you can kill all of these, and then a bunch of health spawns. Then we'll be using these health to manage our health around the level, because we'll be doing a bunch of jumping into the swamp water.
Normally these flibbits take 2 hits to kill, so Wonder Wing is really a good time saver here. Dick starting the hut jumps. You can just rat-tat-rap at the end of your talent trot jump here and skip having to break some of these huts, although this one that he's at right now is extremely difficult to make that hut jump, and people never go for it. He makes it up all the way just fine.
So right here, Dick is going to try to shoot an egg into this Croctus, and then roll down and ground pound this witch switch to overlap these cutscenes, skipping part of one. And there we go.
And an interesting property of it is there's a little sparkly sound kind of thing that happens when you hit the Croctuses. And because the witch switch cutscene interrupts it, it never goes away until you get the blue Jinjo, because those also have a similar sound.
Yeah, so
kind of a weird effect.
The trigger for telling it to turn the sound effect is never actually activated. So once you do that on the next one, it'll turn off. So you actually have to use the boots here.
Except you don't. Like
Except
the
you
time
don't.
the other day.
Except you don't. You can actually do it without the boots. It's the same speed, though.
It quite literally is almost exactly the same speed. Alright, so Dick gets
So it's much safer to do it with the boots because you manage your health better.
That's actually a really good gold feather to get if you're if you want extra. That and that stump right there.
And he needed it because he accidentally used one on the huts.
Okay. Let's see if he gets hit here. Oh, nope, he thought he was going to go for the egg shot and get hit during the cutscene, but he decides not to go for it. Few little mistakes, and Dick's pulling ahead.
So now we're getting to the fun parts of Bubble Goop Swamp, the long mini games. So this mini game is the Tip Top Choir mini game, where you've got to copy the pattern that Tip Top gives you. And so they're gonna also do a little skip, or hopefully try to get the skip, where they land on Tip Top as he starts his text, allowing you to move during the cutscene. So it allows you to then move over and hit these guys during the cutscene, saving a bit of time.
Dick gets it. Yeah, so an interesting trick you can use in several places in the run is if you get damaged or if Banjo gets knocked back during a cutscene, you're actually freed from being locked during the cutscene and you're allowed to move. Davey doesn't go for it here.
And so something that runners tend to do is type their patterns into the chat. As you can see, Dick is typing his pattern into the pat. And so you should
Chattered
all spam
into the pat.
Yeah, you should all spam in chat so he can't read the pattern. So it looks like they're having no problems with the Tip Top Choir, unlike Brad the other day.
I had my reasons.
These are all randomly generated. There is no actual patterns to these.
Yep. So you want them to be, you know, as close together as possible in between each one, which really doesn't happen a lot. And you also want the last turtle in the pattern to be as close to Tip Top as you can, because then you're closer to the Jiggy.
Preferably the yellow one.
Yep. And Dick actually creating an interesting effect there on the stumps. Some of them have really weird collision, and if you're colliding with 5 walls or more at a time, you end up getting stuck in midair, and if you land in a certain way on certain walls. And so he was stuck on almost seemingly nothing there. Really interesting effect. And I have a bounty up, actually, for a trick that I will post in the chat for the bounty of $160 if someone manages to get it.
160 now.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie actually added $10 to it. So...
Yeah, so figuring out exactly how that worked was something that was recently found. You guys haven't seen the full Furnace Fun skip. I would check that out, because that uses the same concept.
So they're gonna bring themselves down to 1 health here before they enter Mumbo's to set up for a death warp at the end, and looks like Dick's gonna take that token behind Mumbo's hut as a backup for the one that he missed in Clankers. Normally that token would be actually skipped in lieu of the one at the beginning of Bubble Gloop Swamp. So he wants to be at 7 tokens after Mumbo here, and he is, so he's all good.
So Mumbo here, this is the first Mumbo transformation. He can actually do something like turn you into a washing machine or a T-Rex, and it has a pretty low chance of happening, but it can waste some time in your run if you get that random chance. Luckily, both of them didn't get it, but there's a few more Mumbos in the run where it could happen. And they're coming up to the best minigame. This is the Vile game. All the runners' favorite. 3-minute long game of just running around eating stuff.
Eating the Yumblies and Grumblies. Yumblies being the red ones, Grumblies being the yellow. And in the first round, you just have to eat the red ones. And later on, yellow ones will start spawning the Grumblies in the second round, and then the third round there'll actually be one on the screen that tells you which one to eat. and it changes every 10 seconds.
Because we cheat and use Furnace Fun moves, we have the shoes during the race for our first trip above the swamp. Usually you wouldn't have that, so it actually makes this pretty fast. Or not fast, but easy.
Can't speed it up on.
Can't speed up an auto-scroller.
But I guess the game intends you to beat round 3 with the shoes. But if you're skilled enough, you can without them. And the strategy here is that Vile always knows where the Yumblies and Grumblies are spawning. So if you follow him around and beat him to them, you're pretty much guaranteed to win as long as you do pretty well. Stream doesn't look like it's going here. I'm not sure what happened.
Spliced. You're not missing much anyways, this is Vile. And apparently he doesn't make you smile.
He's a greedy crocodile. And looks like he's back? Almost?
Oh, yep.
There we go. And then there's some collectibles around the room which they try to get throughout this to help with resource management, as well as the Mumbo token. And the goal is to end the mini game with Vile as close to the front of the room as possible. So you're closer to the exit, and then also timing it so that your speed shoes don't run out. You want to carry them all the way to the loading zone. So Davey and Dick will try to get their speed shoes about 15 or 20 seconds into the third round so that they carry them all the way.
And as you can see,
Dick's having no trouble here.
No trouble with Vile. Speed shoes make it easy.
Not very many yellow ones spawning for Davey there. And Dick heading over to the huts area again to finish collecting a few things. Just a few notes, Mumbo tokens, and the pink Jinjo. The notes in the pink Jinjo you actually can collect as Banjo, but it ends up being slower to do so. So it's better to just take the croc here, not have to worry about your health, and then we can just death warp off of this dragonfly, who really likes to get stuck on the wall.
He's following.
See how he
that's good.
Behaves
There
here.
we go. That's a pretty fast death.
All right, not too bad. Ideally, you want him to follow you all the way to the last note, but that's pretty hard to happen. You gotta have him not hit the wall. Where is he for Davey? Kind of hanging out, doesn't even see him. All right. And he gets it.
So now here, you can see Dick is gonna get this Jiggy locked inside Grunty. Which usually you're supposed to go into another loading zone and fall down to get it, but you can use that shock spring pad to just climb up here and get it anyways.
And the Gruntling really wants a piece of Davey here, but ends up walking away. You can actually grab this Jiggy without even hitting the witch switch at all. If you are up on Grunty's neck and you kind of jump at a really specific camera angle, you just clip right through and fall down into the... and he rat-a-tat wraps instead of rolls. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so you can clip right into the neck, but it's just too inconsistent, so people don't go for it. It just doesn't save enough time.
So Dick here is spawning the shock spring pad for later. You'll use it to grab a Jiggy in the sarcophagus, which is the Witch Switch Jiggy for the next level, Gobi's Valley, which is he's going to go open right now.
An interesting thing about that.
Look at those sync dances.
I like the note door cutscenes there. The interesting thing about the Gobi's Valley Witch Switch Jiggy that a lot of people don't know is that it's actually only about 1 second faster to do it this way. You can clip into the sarcophagus and get the Jiggy without actually opening it. And that's only about 1 second faster than hitting the Witch Switch in the maze itself. And the reason for that is because if you do, you just simply backflip and you don't actually have to activate that shock spring pad. But most people, I've never seen anybody for that. But
so if you miss the shock spring pad cycle going for the Jiggy, then it ends up you're losing time over doing it the intended way.
But it requires you to also do the maze just about perfectly. So
No, that's easy.
all right, starting Gobi's Valley here. We can start off right here with the Turbo Trainers with Furnace Fun moves, and start off by collecting some of these ancient ones, or the rings. And normally you're intended to fly through them, but if you use some clever movement, you can actually just run right through them. And their spawns are random. The first one always spawns where you saw Dick just collect the first one. However, when you enter a loading zone and you re-enter the main area, it always spawns in that same location, but the game keeps track of which ones you've collected. So you can use that to collect the rings faster than one
Dick
giant
here
flying section.
Is going for something
for
called
Gobi Clip.
Gobi Clip, even though it's on the Sphinx and has nothing to do with Gobi. And there we go, he gets it.
Right.
If you E-charge at a specific angle, you for some reason gain falling speed, and you slide along the wall and just clip through a crack that's in the side of the Sphinx, allowing you to get through.
And actually, Davey gets lucky there, and he gets what we like to call swag ring that you can jump to. If it spawns behind the boots, you get enough speed with the Turbo Trainers to just jump right over to it. Dick doing some pretty good egg shots in the Sphinx here, doing a good job collecting that Jiggy, and we'll see if Davey gets the skip.
First
He gets
try.
it first try. Wow.
What a god.
Great job, and that's really, really fortunate because he lost an extra health earlier there. So now his health is a little bit more safe.
If you manipulate your camera going up to these ancient ones, they won't start rising until they're on screen, allowing you to walk over and get on top of them as they're coming up, like Dick just did there. Allowing you to quickly get the ring. So, fun thing about Gobies is that there's so many routes you can do in this level. This is a great level. Unlike
Cole
Bubble
loves
Goop
routing
Swamp.
it.
Routed this level so many times. It's about time for a new Gobies route change. I'll get on that later. Gotta make it. You gotta spice up that route every once in a while to make the runners mad. Mess up their muscle memory.
Davey opting to kill that Slappa there for the extra health just to be safe, and he gets the ring as well while it's rising. And Dick entering the memory pyramid here. This is actually a set pattern, so you can just memorize this and complete it in the fastest pattern possible.
Remember when you messed up this pattern, Brad? It's the
Yes,
same
I
same
do.
one every time, but Brad the Taster here actually messed it up. He did his tournament.
I threw that tournament against Davey. And he misses that
Sure.
note. Okay. He could have gotten it afterwards, but he had just enough time to collect it and make it in before the timer ran out.
So if you shoot those eggs right there and jump off as you shoot the last one at the right timing, you can fall down to the flight pad, saving a little time. We're gonna beak bomb through this ring over here.
Ooh, that was really close. I've landed on the top of that ring a couple times, which is really unfortunate because you have to go back to a flight pad. And then now Dick is going for grab a skip. You can beak bomb it, which is fast enough to avoid him going back into the ground, and he manages to get it without crash landing. You can stay in flight and then go for this target for Ruby's pyramid. And if you time it right, you can get the target at the very end of your beak bomb, and you don't get that bounce off animation. But he was a little bit too close. Some good egg poops there. Getting the Ruby jiggy. And we'll see how Davey does on the flying section. Perfect through the ring. Alright.
So you can manipulate the camera, leaving the pyramid there to get this ring.
Alright. Davey manages to get Grabba as well. Both of them having a little trouble with these wall sphinxes here with the egg shots.
So he's gonna get to this flight pad down here. He's gonna beak bomb over. Gonna turn and grab this honeycomb inside the cactus. And turn around and beak bomb this rock that Gobi's chained to.
Okay, now this is kind of tricky because he didn't get the jiggy. Oh, he gets the Hess. Okay, so...
Oh, no, he just got knocked back.
Yeah, so he
So
gets
he was
knocked back.
actually wasn't terrible because he was still able to pick up Jiggy in flight,
Yeah.
skipping the dance, and fly directly over to
If
the
he didn't get
snubs.
hit there, he would have missed the jiggy. He was a little bit too high and too far above it.
So it was
he
actually
would've-
kind of a good thing that he got
Yeah.
hit there.
Another thing that can happen is you can land, you can grab the jiggy and the game makes you land during the cutscene, which is not too bad, but it forces you to take an extra damage, which is bad for the end of the level because you want to have 4 health at Gobi at the end of the level.
This is a hard level to not take damage in places because you got a Gobi clip. Got so much sand everywhere that you can just easily get hit in places.
Yep, this cactus makes you take damage if you touch it, and that's another tricky thing is the way that it messes up your flying movement if you touch it. Alright, so Davey grabs the jiggy, so he's going to be forced to take a damage here, unless he wants to wait for the carpet, but he's probably not going to do that.
Nah, carpet's over.
So again, now Dick is also going to manipulate his camera here and spawn the final ring, which spawns the Jiggy on top of Jinxie, and that can be just collected later on. Very old route, so this level had you doing the entire rings in one flight section and then land on that Jiggy and then go to Ruby's. But it was timed to be slightly faster to just grab all the rings without flying, and then it's less dependent on RNG as well.
Then it ended up being even faster, routing the rings and like even better timings during the level.
Dick manages to get the maze. Oh, but he falls down, so he will have to take the long route around. However, you can also use this slope on the wall to get over, and he manages to get it with a 43. The best you can get is a 54 on that maze.
And so, if you want a nice hot route for gobies, there is a route that is about 2 seconds faster. That makes you get the speed shoes up by where the water pyramid is. And you take them all the way down into the pyramid. And you do the pyramid with the speed shoes on. Then you end up skipping that jiggy dance at the end there. It's pretty hot.
Requires pretty much perfect movement, and I wouldn't advise going for it.
I think Stiv should go for it. It's got to get that.
I think so too. And Davey does a good job at the maze. Actually,
very nice.
Catches up by about 8 seconds there. This is another part of the level that kind of requires some specific routing, is that Gobi goes all the way to the start of the level here when you grab his Jiggy late from earlier on, but as we mentioned, dying loses all your notes, so you can't death warp to the beginning. You have to walk all the way over there. And Dick also using the turbo trainers to skip the dance here. And he's going to try to take it all the way up and skip the final one to save those 8 more seconds. Good job. And then just a few more notes to get here.
Gonna get these notes, the honeycomb, and he's gonna go over and get these notes around Grabba, where we got the Jiggy in flight earlier. So he's going to take just enough damage here that on the last note, he'll end up doing a death warp back to the beginning of the level.
And this is convenient because in this level, we don't get an extra health from the honeycomb, so we don't have to worry about a refill. Davey managing to get one of the skips.
Gobies is done, or at least for Dick.
Now let's see if he gets that shock spring cycle that we were talking about earlier. And he manages to get it, so now he's just going to do a simple roll right into this Jiggy and grab it through the sarcophagus.
A lot of runners just really don't like gobies because it can just sometimes really just mess you up. It's
There's
really
a lot of
easy to
difficult things.
lose or run, but they both did the level very well.
Yep. Dick with a bit of a lead. He's about a minute ahead. But this is still anyone's race at this point. Both of them with well under a sub-hour Gobi's time. And Dick making the long trek to open Mad Monster Mansion.
Only there was a way to skip this puzzle. That's another thing people need to find. Mad Monster Mansion early.
If you do, Secret Humor Man will give you $100. Now, some people might ask, why not go open this first? Well, unfortunately, you don't have enough notes to open the 450 note door, which you actually can skip by doing a flight clip out of bounds and go up to that loading zone, but that's just simply too much slower than the time it takes to the time that you would save by taking one trip to Mad Monster area and open Gobies on the way. Mad Monster is a part of the run where you start to run out of your resources a little bit, especially your eggs and your gold feathers. And you've got the pots to worry about, and the cellar and the graveyard that requires you to use quite a few gold feathers. So if you accidentally use some extra earlier in the run, could make this level a little tricky.
So this level here, Mad Monster Mansion. Little did we know that being a casual Let's Player is faster than being speedrunners. and that it was like 17 seconds faster to do the well as the pumpkin than it was to do it as BK. Who would have thought? So we'll be seeing the new Mad Monster Mansion route. The new one.
And of course, it wasn't implemented until after I was past it in the TAS.
Shout outs to Connor75 and Captain Cole. Messing up
Connor
Brad's
75
task.
pulling out his Let's Play skills from his YouTube channel to save time in Banjo-Kazooie. Alright, so Dick's gotta open this window here for the pumpkin later.
Gotta
And
give
head down
myself
onto
the
the
shout
cellar.
outs. Gotta give myself credit. So this is an interesting token in the cellar here. It's got the same memory address as another token in the level. So if you end up picking up this token, another token in the level disappears and is uncollectible. So we're gonna collect it here instead of the other location because it's faster.
Right, and Dick breaking the other window again for the pumpkin here. Missing a note, but he recovers it, doesn't fall off. And he does a good job at getting that shock spring pad without having to kill that skeleton Champa there.
Look at all these people still going around the room counterclockwise. Didn't they watch the test and know that it was faster to go around clockwise?
But Cole, Stivity Bobo does it that way. That means it must be faster. And this bat almost hitting Davey there, but he manages to dodge it.
Dick's
And
going for a jiggy skip and he doesn't get it.
you land on the very edge of this flight pad in a very specific spot. You can avoid picking up the jiggy, but also take flight. And if you turn towards the jiggy, your hitbox just extends far enough, and then the game thinks you're flying, so it just skips the dance. Dick missed it. Davey will probably go for it as well, so hopefully he gets it. And I will actually be right back.
Dick here is going through the maze, and as I once said, it's amazing. Haha, haha, haha. Don't tell Brad I said that. And so here you can jump off the honeycomb box and actually get a height boost and make it on top of the maze. And so we can make it over to these pots here and do the pot section now. So you want to get these pots fast as you can, and then go over here. Now we're gonna jump off Mumbo's skull. Skipping him for now. We'll transform later. And open up this gate. And so now Dick is gonna do Tumblar, where you have to spell out Banjo-Kazooie using the letters around the room. Let's see if Davey gets the honeycomb jump. And he gets it. These pots can be a little tricky. You have to be lined up pretty perfect for the eggs to go in, because the egg bounces don't always like to work.
Alright, I'm back. How are they doing? Ooh. Egg, a little bit late
Davey's
on the
having
egg
a little
poop there.
trouble with these eggs. and pots. Other than that, it went pretty well.
Dick's a little bit low on health. Skeletons almost wanted to get in his way there, but he dodged them.
So hopefully you'll be fine.
Oh,
But
and
the church
that right there, that right there is a problem. So if you press Z too early to try to get in Talon Try, you'll ground pound. And I've been telling people the way to get around this is to, when you're charging up your shock spring, to hold Z. That prevents that mistake. And Dick actually gets the Jinjo skip.
So Dick's entering the church with only 2 health, which can be a little scary.
Yeah, Dick, there's a token underneath that whip crack there that he landed on after the Jinjo skip, and if you're a little bit too far forward or you flutter too far outwards too quickly, you'll miss that token. Ideally, you want that, because it's basically like a free 3 or 4 second time save. Unfortunately, he doesn't get it, and this ghost is in a bad spot, so he's going to have to kill it.
You needed the health.
He did need the health too. That was a really good idea to get that.
So now he's gonna do Mott's hands. So luckily, the pattern for this piano is the same every time. So you can easily just do the pattern really fast. This was RNG, then this would just be a nightmare having to follow along to Mott's hand.
It would basically be an auto-scroller. It is sort of an auto-scroller, but you can still mess it up. You can actually beak bust in between the keys, which can be really annoying.
Davey makes it into the church also. Oh, and Davey gets hit by the ghost.
Right, and Dick, you can get that Jiggy before flight. It's slightly faster to get it in flight, so Dick's gonna go for it. He gets it. He's just got to be careful to not fall here. Get this honeycomb. And take... Oh, he actually took 2 damage there. That's a little scary, so he's going to kill this ghost for the health.
So what he did there was when he was falling, he canceled the... Usually when you land, you have a little animation of Banjo getting back up because he took fall damage, but if you slide off the platform, as that animation occurs, it stops it, so he was able to slide off and flutter back on, not having to watch that animation.
Really useful there, because as soon as you fall down, the ghost sees you, starts going after you, and if he manages to reach you while you're getting up, you're getting hit.
Climb to the top of the church here, get the G, get these notes, and then we'll be heading to Mumbo.
Another opportunity for a wishy-washy. See what happens. Did you explain earlier how you'd be able to tell?
No.
So if you see your token count not counting down, that's how you know that you're gonna get either a wishy-washy or a T-Rex. And T-Rex is when Mumbo just fails to transform you at all.
And he says that he'll transform you next game. Speaking of the next game, it's a much better game, and everybody should go run Banjo-Tooie. So here you gotta flush yourself down the toilet.
This is actually the location of that other Mumbo token that Cole was talking about earlier that shares a memory address. It would spawn in this room, but it's not there because they both got the token in the cellar. Davey heading into Mumbo.
Alright, so here is where we're gonna go do the well as the pumpkin with our casual Let's Player strats.
You can already skip the dance as Banjo, but he just swims so slow, and you can just run around at the same speed you normally can in ground.
Ooh.
Oh, now Dick's at 1 health. He's got to be really careful here.
You can do some precise jumps around all these whip cracks and make it really fast, but Dick's gonna take this real safe right here.
He went for that. Okay, he is fine. All right. So he manages to finish Mad Monster Mansion. Looks like he's only about 1.5 minutes behind his PB, so not too bad, considering the start that he had.
Still anybody's race, though.
Mm-hmm.
Something like losing the boggy will allow Davey to catch back up, or a death in engine room. And so, in case you were wondering, why are we doing Mad Monster Mansion now and not doing Freezy Peak when that is actually the 5th level? Well, we had to do it because of the Witch Switch jiggies and doing the flying section in the lair, which will now do FP after Mad Monster Mansion.
Yep, if you do Freezy Peak earlier, you have to actually take a detour and go back to the flight pad switch and do another flying section, which is pretty slow. And,
oh no, Dick reset.
Yeah, I think Dick just, wasn't really feeling this run. He's gonna try to give it another go.
Hey.
Just kidding. He's doing a route change that was made quite a while ago. And you can grab the Clanker's Witch Switch jiggy on the way back here, going through the lair. This part skips actually having to transform back as the pumpkin and walk back through the lair as the pumpkin. And then this cauldron over here down these stairs takes you back to the lobby of Freezy Peak.
But Brad, they reset. I want to do my speedrun in single sitting. Davey got the reset also. That's a really hard trick. Can't believe he got that first try. It's frame perfect.
Sorry, I didn't know you guys could hear my chip. Alright, so Dick heading into Freezy Peak.
Gonna avoid Boggy here, not get his text. And he's gonna skip these notes on the hills now, and he'll get them later, because you go down that path multiple times. So, interestingly, they're not on, these guys aren't on screen, their hitbox aren't active. So you can just stand here, and the Twinklies just jump to the end and you win. So, Dick's just gonna stand here for like 30 seconds. Such great gameplay.
All right, and now with some camera manipulation, Dick is going to go for an egg shot on the star switch. And it looks like he doesn't get it, or he didn't go for it. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, and he's missing these egg
missing
shots.
eggs, and he's low on eggs. Okay, he got it.
Okay.
If you have the camera zoomed out there, it kind of brings the tree along with you in the camera, and you can just shoot eggs downward, straight down, and grab that switch. Now he's going to go for YOLO Star here. Beak Bomb, then try to quickly go through the star 3 times.
And he gets it. Nice.
Good job.
It's really easy to mess that up if you Beak Bomb slightly too early or too late. And that'll cause you to land a lot of the time, and you'll have to re-get in flight.
Yep, that'll lose you 20 to 30 seconds, depending on how you fail it there. So he saved quite a bit of time with that. And he's going to try to grab this pipe jiggy in flight. Good job. And land on the sled. Funny thing about the sled, if you ground pound on the sled, for some reason, you'll just pass right through that Mumbo token on the scarf. So you don't want to do that, and an old strat was to Beak Bomb the pipe jiggy and then land on the scarf in flight, but people kind of strayed away from that.
Davey's not doing that camera manipulation either. Nobody likes your strats, Brad.
Sorry. It's just not consistent. Except it is if you're not bad.
Dang.
And Davey has a lot of feathers here.
He must have not thought he had that many, going for some extra ones there.
Yeah, let's see if he goes for YOLO Star. Nope, he's going to go for the regular star strat here.
Which doesn't lose that much time, but and it's much safer. So now Dick is gonna Beak Bomb all these snowmen.
The recoils can be a little bit different every time, so you gotta react. This is a tricky section. And Davey, unfortunately, has to watch the dance, but he doesn't fall down, which is good. And then Dick now is gonna try to Beak Bomb into Mumbo's skull into the loading zone. And he doesn't want to touch the ground. Gets it perfect. Good job.
Nice.
In Banjo-Tooie, if you crash land and hit a loading zone, you still enter. But in Banjo-Kazooie, you won't hit the loading zone until after the animation is done. So yet another reason why Banjo-Tooie is a better speed game.
Yep. Alright, and Dick didn't get washing machine again, so that's great. So now he gets to be the walrus. This is what everybody wants to be. A walrus. They're gonna grab these notes in the water in this empty honeycomb and head over to the first boggy race.
Funny thing about that honeycomb, it doesn't appear there during the race. And I actually told people, hey, it'd be faster to get that honeycomb during the race. And then someone tried to do that in a run, and then it wasn't there, and I screwed them over.
I wonder who that could have been.
Dick going for right leg here on the snowman, and he, let's see, he just barely makes it.
Nice.
That was you, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, because for some reason all the other collectibles spawn, like Mumbo tokens and the notes, and you collect them in the race. But that honeycomb, empty honeycomb, doesn't spawn.
Right, Dick getting these notes in the water. Now, the tricky thing about Boggy here is if you're way ahead of him, he's gonna rubber band and catch up to you. So he doesn't want to be too far ahead of
Ooh,
Boggy.
Davey misses the loading zone there. It recoils and takes damage.
So Dick gonna go for these notes around the present and the Mumbo token, and then hopefully Boggy should be going slow enough. Yep, looks like he's just fine. Actually manages to get a couple notes, and he wins the race.
Remember when people didn't get that token on the present because they said it was too hard?
Yeah.
So, interesting here is this Waza text is unskippable. You have to read it all out.
One of the few texts in the game that's unskippable. And something to note about these presents that we're collecting for the Boggy kids is if you Death Warp, you do not keep them with you. So you can't simply just collect them and then Death Warp and give them to the igloo kids in the igloo at the end. You actually have to make a detour before you're done with the level.
Davey taking it safe by not doing the right leg strats.
Right leg with the walrus getting all those notes prevents you from having to go detour down there later as Banjo and get those notes before the second race. Saves about 6 or so seconds.
So now Dick's gonna start scaling the snowman, collecting all the notes and stuff on his way up.
And something that's really unique about this level is you'll notice this particle effect of the snow, which actually kind of lags the game a little bit, and that's why zooming the camera in on that scarf there is something that runners do to reduce lag. But if you notice, if you look far away, particle effect isn't there. It's a little like cloud around Banjo. Oh! And Dick almost falls off the scarf, but he manages to stay up there. Wow. That was scary. That would have cost him a lot of time. So now the fastest way to get back to the igloo, and now that we have all the presents for the kids, is to just beak bomb towards the entrance of the level. And this is actually useful for setting up the Death Warp at the end, because you want to have 5 health going into Wazo's cave, and that just sets him up for it right there.
He's gonna stay on top of the table, throwing the presents to the kids so the Jiggy spawns on him. So now he's gonna collect these notes that he skipped at the start. And he's gonna head over and do the second Boggy race.
Yep, and this is where Davey later is going to have to detour for some notes on the leg, but Dick can head straight to Boggy. Now, Boggy moves a lot faster in this race.
So if you take too long collecting the stuff you need to collect during this race, it's very easy to just end up losing. Or if you try to stay too far ahead of him for too long, he'll speed up right at the end, passing you.
Yep, he will go so fast that you just simply won't be able to catch up to him.
So it actually takes some manipulating and some skill for this race, unlike the other race.
And getting the Jinjo and letting Boggy get a little bit ahead here so he starts to actually slow down.
And you want to sort of stay with Boggy for a bit here, because you don't want him sprinting too far ahead too soon.
And then trying to grab this last note by the present so you don't have to detour after the race. And he manages to win. So Dick with a pretty good freeze easy peak overall. cut it really close. Excuse me, on the scarf there.
And because of Waz's cave here, this is one of the few levels you just cannot skip the final dance, so you have to watch this extra long dance jig.
You can route the level otherwise, but it ends up being significantly slower to do so.
Because you gotta get this honeycomb back here at some point. Which you're supposed to get as the walrus, but if you take damage in the water, you can push yourself into the tunnel and swim your way through.
If you're in Talon Trap, you just sink down.
Yes.
Really interesting.
So you can now death warp in here, leaving the level much faster instead of swimming all the way back through.
Alright, so Dick leaving with about a 1 hour and 25-minute time. I think that's still, he's like within a couple minutes of his PB, so he's on a decent run. And so Davey earlier, if you guys noticed, opted to actually break that web earlier, but Dick's gonna go for it now. And hopefully get this flight pad. Yep, and with 1 egg left. And now he really doesn't want to land here. Oh, he misses the jiggy, so he's going to have to fly back around. And the camera, though, is acting really weird. Oh, no, he lands.
Oh, that's pretty bad, because now he's got to go all the way back over and activate that flight pad switch again.
Yep, so Davey's going to catch up a little bit here. Davey really making sure that he doesn't lose. Boggy is moving pretty slow. So Davey just playing it safe.
Easy.
So now Dick doesn't have to go for that jiggy. At least he can just go right through the tunnel. And we skip this witch switch in the level because we can actually just beak bomb it, which extends our hitbox a little bit through the wall there and grab it.
So now that this is all done, we're gonna go to the best level in the game, Rusty Bucket Bay.
I thought that was Click Clock Wood.
Nah. Now Davey here, finishing up Breezy's Peak. Still not doing too bad. He hasn't died yet, which is always a good thing. It's still anybody's race. Death in Engine Room could allow Davey to catch back up.
Yep, in terms of end FP time, looks like Davey was about 2.5 minutes behind, but he caught up quite a bit with that mistake Dick made. Now let's see how he does at the flying section as Dick goes to open Rusty Bucket Bay. Davey doesn't have to break the web here, so nice and easy flight pad grab here. And see if he manages to stay in flight. Alright, good job. See if he goes for the beak bomb. Nope, he's going to play it safe. You can actually beak bomb into that tunnel. Saves a little bit of time, but Davey's going to play it nice and safe and doesn't want to land.
Now Dick is now entering Rusty Bucket Bay. So one of the first things that we're gonna do when he enters this level is Engine Room after this first room. You want to get this over with right away because it's so easy to die, and it so happens that it allows the route in the level to work really well doing it right away. So there's a few notes and a token in this room. Now we enter engine.
Any fall in engine room is an instant death. So Dick's got to be
Davey
really
having
careful.
a little trouble making it to this. There we go. He gets that. And so engine room, all these cogs, spinning pipes are all in a cycle.
Oof. Right, so Dick
He
makes it
gets
to the
through
first
that.
switch pretty well. Now he's going to take damage on this fan and then try to go through it with his invincibility frames. And he gets hit again, but gets hit directly backwards, which is good. Sometimes they can knock you in a weird direction and make you fall into the void.
And so you want to be as straight as possible walking into the fan. So you see he took the extra time to line up his camera.
Oh no! He gets knocked off. Oh, that is so unfortunate. Oh, and now Dick. Oh wow! Dick actually gets
He actually
the
got
backup.
it!
Wow! So if you
Dude,
land on that
what a
pipe
god.
down there, if you land on that pipe down there, you can actually void out of the level. And an interesting property of this game is that if you void out of bounds, the game. Oh wow! And now he's at 1
No,
health.
why'd you go back in, Dick?
He has to.
He could have just went in the other way.
He has to hit the switches again.
Oh, yeah.
An interesting property of voiding out in this game is that it retains your notes and Jinjos. So he actually prevented himself from losing his notes and having to go into that extra room. And now this is a really close race. Although Davey would have been. Oh no!
No!
He gets hit again! No!
And so now Davey is.
Now Davey has taken the
he has
lead.
taken the
Wow.
And
That is so unfortunate after that backup that he managed to do. That was really quick thinking on his part that he knew about that backup and was able to manage to
apparently
get out of.
game froze, entering that loading zone. So now he lost even more time.
Oh, what?
That
I've
can
never seen
occasionally happen. Going into a loading zone, the game will just fail to load.
I've never seen that before. I don't. I mean, I'm
I've
sure
had
it's
that-
happened to people, but
happened
I've
to
never
that
witnessed
too.
it. That
It's
is.
happened to me, and I've seen it happen to a few other people.
That is so unfortunate, man.
It doesn't happen very often. I've
Ugh.
seen it happen in 2E more.
That
And
is.
Davey makes it safely through engine room.
Wow. What a turn of events.
Hey, after Dick showed off his skills and voided out an engine room.
Oh, and Davey manages to get like a really super fast instant clip on that glass in engine room. You can approach it at a interesting angle and just go right through the wall. And Davey with plenty of time to make the propeller jiggy. Dick taking the cauldron to head back to the Rusty Bucket Bay area. This is just so unfortunate for him because he was playing really well. And now Davey has taken the lead. Blame it on the programmers, guys.
Still not over yet. This is the banjo run.
It's not.
Anything can happen.
Anything in
especially
Click Clock
late
Wood
game.
can happen.
Or Furnace Fun.
Davey playing it a little bit safe, surfacing this oil in Rusty Bucket Bay depletes your air at double the speed, similar to the cold water in Freeze Easy Peak.
And Dick made it back to Rusty Bucket Bay. He's got to start all over for the 4th time. Jump over here for the witch switch, and Davey's gonna roll down, and go fight Boss Boombox. Boss Boombox is an interesting box in that if you hit him off screen with some eggs, the Jiggy won't despawn and you can just grab it without killing him.
That's
Otherwise,
actually an opportunity for a damage cancel there if you touch the Jiggy on the same frame that you touch Boss Boombox. It actually just skips the dance, but he didn't go for it. Dick making it through the first fan. He realizes he already has the Jiggy.
muscle memory is strong.
And he, let's see, he gets hit again.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But he made it
makes
through.
Finally.
He's good. Okay.
Jeez. All right, so Dick making it through Engine Room. Now he's probably going to play it really safe for the next little while here just to make sure he doesn't die. Rusty Bucket Bay is very punishing. There's a lot that can kill you. And the Chomp enemies, I don't think we mentioned this yet, but the Chomp enemies deal 2 damage if they are in their biting animation. However, if you just touch them normally, they do 1 damage. So in this room that Davey is approaching here, he's going to be really careful to not get hit by these Chompas.
This is an area that's really easy to just die if you're at low health, because there's so many of the Chompas here.
You can duck under them with some really good movement. Davey opting to just roll under them, and
It's the safest way to do
the
the run.
safest way. Gets the Talon Trot into the loading zone. Let's see if Davey gets the slope glitch. He doesn't go for it. Now there's a jump coming up where you can jump from this crane all the way to the lifeboat hoist on the side of the
Lifeboat jump.
level.
Ooh,
On the
Davey
side of the
jumped a
boat.
little too soon there and didn't make it up.
However, lifeboat jump is really precise, and I think Davey probably won't go for it. Dick usually does, so we'll see what he does when he gets there. Davey opting to not go for it. And if you make it into the kitchen quick enough here, you can skip this little cutscene of the box lowering. And for a few frames, you could see it at the end there, but he was already in, so he didn't have to watch it. Davey's pretty good on health. He's got 4. This room right here, Captain's Quarters, can be a little dangerous. So the Champa next to the Jiggy does 2 damage, and he opts for gold feathers there to play it nice and safe. He's got 5 health.
Oh yeah,
6 health.
Dick got the boombox gift.
Oh, did he? I
Yeah.
totally didn't see it.
Another Dick showing off more strats.
Davey gonna enter in the code here that's displayed on the side of the ship. It's the same every time. He doesn't have to worry about checking it or anything, he just memorizes it.
So coming up here is the navigation room, which is notorious for soft locking. Usually happens if you try to go for the notes first. And you get hit by the sailor guys.
Davey does a good job at dodging it. Dick actually earlier there. Well, never mind. Sorry, he's gonna go for lifeboat jump here probably. Let's see. Oh no, he doesn't. Oh, he does.
And he gets it.
Oh, but he doesn't make it back onto the boat, unfortunately.
He jumped from too low on the ship, and he didn't have enough height to get up. So now he has to go get up there all over again. And so Davey there gets a damage boost up to these notes by hitting himself off the Champa. And he needed to take some damage anyways, because there will be a death warp at the end of this level. Alright, Dick's going for it again. And he made it.
Made it this time.
Davey in the anchor room here.
The
These sailors in here just really like to mess with you, and they're always hiding around the notes and move around the room.
Yeah, the camera is not very good either, so...
Got hit there once, but that's still good because you need to take some damage. And so this anchor here slices through Snorkel like it's nothing, and he's fine.
One of the trickier things about Lifeboat Jump, even after you made it, is if you are too low inside the actual lifeboat itself, that's what causes what happened to Dick, is falling down, not making it high enough over that little railing. You have to actually be on the edge of the lifeboat in order to make that.
Everybody's dead in anchor room. Shh. And so Davey here, accidentally gets pushed under the buoy underwater. And he accidentally grabs the jiggy, so he misses the potential dance skip there. So he has to watch this dance animation.
Yeah, so there's two ways that skip works. One is similar to the ones in Mumbo's Mountain and Mad Monster, where you can jump into the water with the jiggy itself, but this is one of the trickiest
pauses
ones.
His timer.
Oh.
Run is invalid.
The other way that you can get that Jinjo skip is there's an interesting property about water in this game, in that if you jump out of the water and you don't do any action and you land on the ground, the game doesn't actually consider you to be out of the water until you've touched the ground. And because of that, the game
misses
will just
the death
skip
warp.
the dance. It doesn't think you're in the water until you touch the ground, so you'll just land on the jiggy and skip the dance, which is what Dick will probably go for later.
And so Davey had to go to the Champa, the death warp, and then get knocked into the water, having an extended death animation, losing even more time. But he's now done with Rusty Bucket Bay and moving on to the next level.
I think Dick might have gotten a little frustrated with what's all been happening to him, and might have reset his timer out of frustration. Which I don't blame him for. That's really unfortunate that the game just crashed on that loading zone. And now Davey heading over to hit the switch that makes the Jiggy podium appear for the Click Clock Wood puzzle. See if he goes for Leaf Jump here, which he's going to. And he almost gets it.
So if you backflip in the right spot, you sort of get pushed up onto the leaf.
Oh, it's so tricky. If you're just a little bit off, you won't get it. I wonder if he's gonna... Yep, he's gonna opt to just take the normal way up. So he lost about 15 seconds going for that, unfortunately, but get some extra feathers along the way, which is useful for Winter. Winter has quite a few flying sections and you need a lot of feathers.
Alright, let's see if Dick gets this Jiggy skip.
Yep, so he manages to get it in the method that I was describing. The trick there is that the buoy actually has to be at its lowest point next to Banjo. Otherwise, you'll just touch the ground before hitting Jiggy, and then you'll get the dance. So he saved about 8 seconds doing that. Dick getting himself down to 3 health. He's going to probably take damage on this Champa here to get himself down to 1. And going to go for the Death Wart.
And so Davey here is talking to Brent Tilda so he can learn the grunt, or have a better idea what the grunty pattern is. So we have a tool that is a Furnace Fun calculator that allows us to find the pattern for the grunty questions, which is in Furnace Fun. There's 255 possible patterns that can be generated for grunty questions. So it's a random one of those every single time you do a run. And so by using the calculator, we can learn 3 of those question answers from talking to Brent Tilda there, type them in, and it'll generate all possible patterns that he could have. So he can, when he goes to Furnace Fun, check the answer that is most likely the answer, and then eventually learn his pattern.
Yep, and it's actually a little bit faster to talk to one of the Brentildas earlier in the run next to the Treasure Trove Cove puzzle. A little bit less of a detour to talk to her. However, the Brentilda by the Click Clock Wood puzzle generally ends up reducing the amount of possible patterns to the lowest by entering those into the calculator. So that's usually why runners go for it. And Dick does get Leaf Jump there on the first try. Davey entering Spring. The main reason you gotta enter Spring here is to start the
because it's the only thing you can
the Irie puzzle.
And plus all the other doors are closed, so you have to enter.
And yeah, you have to. But you do have to start the Irie puzzle. And that's the longest Jiggy in the game.
How much time does Leaf Jump save? It obviously saves 5 minutes, so you should go for it.
Now, something that people might not have noticed while playing the game, when they were a kid at least, is that the cluckers, or the birds in these seasons, get bigger as the seasons go on. So in spring, it's really easy to just jump right around them, but in fall, it's almost impossible, really. So as seasons go on, you got to be more careful. And the cluckers also, like the Champas, do 2 damage if they bite you. And they can easily knock you off the tree, wasting even more time.
Davey is gonna cancel his fall damage. And I'll go open up the flower in Spring.
And I think Davey goes for the soft lock route, right?
I think he is doing the soft lock route. So
he's going to do a little setup here and use this ramp to build up speed and clip out of bounds, which, like I mentioned earlier, brings you back to the lobby or the entrance pad to the level. Keeps all your notes and Jinjos. This is a little bit of a harder clip than the one in fall. Unfortunately, it's taken a little while to get it. It's really tricky. But I think Davey wants to show it off, and he manages to
There
get
we
it.
go. And so you void out, it takes you right back to the start.
And that's really useful in Click Clock Wood because the lobby is just the kind of the central hub for the level. Brings you back closer to the other seasons. And later on, Davey will return to the flower for a skip. Now you can avoid hitting these birds completely because there's a little cutscene when you kill them. It's about 2 or 3 seconds. See if these guys decide to go watch that cutscene or skip it. And now Davey going to kill the Zubbas here
So
with gold
it's
feathers.
supposed to be hard, but if you just stand there in gold feathers, just cheese this game really easy. They didn't think this one through.
Dick was right on top of that egg there, and for some reason didn't get it. Now Davey leaving the beehive and gonna go for Gobi down below, and I think we didn't explain this earlier. If you beak bust on the ground and then fall a really long distance, the game doesn't make you take any damage. So you can fall down almost an entire level and just take no damage at all. Alright, Dick going for spring clip. Gets it on the first try.
First try. Nice.
That was really fast.
So there's a little setup there to get your camera in the correct position, and Dick got that camera set up where Davey had some trouble with it. So you gotta break this boulder here so you can enter here and fall.
You can use gold feathers. I'm not sure, I didn't see how many Davey had. He probably wants to make sure he has enough for fall. For the snare bears, which are those little fly trap looking things that have notes in them in fall. And an old route of this level had you climbing the tree and then jumping down for this jiggy later, and then using the shock spring to get back up, but it's actually faster to just jump up the leaves.
There's that cutscene for the cluckers.
And he did decide to kill that bird, get the cutscene. Played a little bit safe. Davey needs 25 tokens coming up for the bee transformation, so he needs 4 more, and he's going to go for the treehouse jump. Right,
and
made
nice,
it across.
he gets it. Now he's got to jump back. And Dick is actually slightly catching up.
Close, but he made it. Camera there, good thing Davey waited because the camera did a flip, and sometimes the game does that if the camera can't see Banjo. Similar in Super Mario 64, a lot of the 3D games have that property, and so he wanted to play it safe and make sure the camera wasn't going to flip on him and go a direction he wasn't expecting. Opts to kill these birds here.
Safe. Don't blame him at this point.
Yep, he's got quite a bit of a lead, and he wants to keep it that way. Anything can happen in Click Clockwood, really.
He wants to keep as much health as possible. Try not to fall off, because it's the easiest way to lose time on this level.
So you gotta collect 5 caterpillars in summer to feed to Irie, and then 10 in fall, and you can collect them in any season. You gotta have a total of 15. And Dick gonna dodge the bird there, skipping that little cutscene. Davey heading into fall. He's got 50 feathers. Dick gets the jump. Makes it back.
And he gets it back.
And what Dick did there is he actually jumped on that snare bear. Interesting property is that behind their eyes actually do face a certain way. They don't follow Banjo like a lot of things in this game. And they don't quite have much of a hitbox behind the eyes. So there's a little spot where you can land. not take damage. Davey at 3 health. The advantage to that spring clip earlier and being able to go back to that flower is that he doesn't have to hit Gobi and fall. He doesn't have to take a detour to pick up the Jiggy after Irie.
So you skip that cutscene and going over to the flower again. Ending up allowing you to do a cool trick in Spring 2, which we'll be seeing both the runners do.
And so Davey opting to actually pick up the naughty Jiggy in fall. You can pick it up in winter if you want to, which saves a little bit of time. And Davey's got 4 gold feathers, which is just enough to get all of the snare bear notes. So now you'll see that Davey is skipping Gobi, and you'll wonder why he's doing that and how can he spawn the Jiggy. Well, it turns out that if you poop eggs into the flower after returning to spring, it still works. And you can re-enter spring twice and just simply keep pooping eggs into it. However, when the Jiggy spawns, the game doesn't know what to do because it's expecting a Gobi cutscene and wants to give control back to Banjo, but doesn't know how to because it's expecting this cutscene. So the game actually, what we call soft locks, which means it's still running, but it just doesn't know what to do and he can't do anything. But as I explained earlier, you can actually take damage during a cutscene and allow Banjo to move, and with the camera locked, you can maneuver to a loading zone and unlock the game, which is a really tricky thing because you just can't see where you're going. So we'll see that when they enter Spring 2. Dick also opting to get the naughty Jiggy in fall.
So now we've got to collect these acorns. And these acorns have really small, weird hitboxes. So sort of have to like position yourself right and take your time on some of them in order to grab them.
Trickiest one being the one in midair here in between these feathers. Right, he manages to get it, and really doesn't want to fall off here. And one more inside Nabnut's house. Gets up without having to backflip on those notes, but still leaves Talon Trot. Not too bad. Now Davey's just got to hit the winner switch, feed Irie, and then he's all done with fall. Playing it safe.
How did they get here in 2 hours? Well, they are speedrunning, that's how.
And the world record is a 2:03:12 by Stivity Bobo.
And so Davey here wanted to make this camera be in the right position, otherwise this cutscene would actually lag and you would lose a couple seconds here.
Yeah, the particle effects in this game make it lag quite a bit. So the snow and Freezezy Peak in certain areas, and the snow in winter, and then the leaves in fall have this effect. And just got to get these snare bear notes with his last couple gold feathers, and again making use of that no hitbox behind the eyes there to not get hit. And Davey finishing fall in just a little bit past 2 hours.
Dick falls off.
Dick falls off. Oh, it's really unfortunate because he was catching up quite a bit.
So now he's got to climb all the way back up there to get the ivory.
This is just Clockwood. One mistake and he can lose 30 to 45 seconds. Really unfortunate. And now Davey gonna be heading into winter, picking up his last token. Well, he needs one more after this, and he'll be getting it in spring.
Alright, so Dick makes it all the way back up this time. Now he's gonna be feeding you. Alright, so now Davey's gonna beak bomb up to the door up here and enter for this Jiggy.
Now this Jiggy is here in all seasons, but it's much faster to just get it in winter. You gotta head up here anyways for these notes on these platforms.
There's quite a few flight sections here in winter. You get on the flight pad like 4 or 5 times.
And then this is where it gets really laggy too. Again, up by the nest, and sometimes makes getting this Jiggy in flight tricky. So we'll see if he can get it and stay in flight, and he does. And he's gonna beak bomb up and go for this Jiggy at the very top of the level. Doesn't manage to get it in flight, but that's okay. He didn't fall down. And now he's got to poop an egg to hit this window here.
This is a very hard room here. There's this one guy that died in this one room in winter here.
I heard his name was Jimmy. Davey gets through just fine though.
Alright, so coming up right here is 2 very cool clips. And so you can actually, if you position yourself along some walls and seams, you can actually beak bomb through the walls and clip out of bounds. Oh, and Davey actually messes it up here, and I will have to try again.
The good thing is you don't have to worry about your feathers too much because this flight pad is right here. There used to be an old setup where we would do it up by the door at the very top, and it was really costly, but he gets it this time. And now he's going to try to get this honeycomb and then actually do it again to void out of the level by clipping out near the fireplace.
Usually you would have to swim through the cold water to swim all the way up in here, and then swim out to get out. But with these flying clips, you can just beak bomb in, grab the honeycomb, and beak bomb out.
And he does it really well. So Davey losing a little time to missing the clip, but not too much. Gets the backup. And he's going to get his last token. 25, just enough to transform into the bee. And now this is what we were talking about earlier, the soft lock. So you'll notice after he poops the eggs into this flower that the game's gonna kind of go to this default camera angle. But he's gonna try to get hit by these bees from the honey hive here and use those to take damage.
Everybody be quiet. The runner needs silence. Concentrate.
And the way that the way that the runner is generally set this up is with specific jumps and camera angles.
Davey misses that
and
egg.
Davey has to wait now for the bees to kind of go back to their original position for him to try it again. And let's see how he does. Misses the egg again.
Then Dick here gets
And
both clips.
Oh, he gets it. He gets it. Okay, Davey's in the soft lock now. So now he's got to make his way to Mumbo's hut. See if he can do it. And he makes it. All right.
There we go.
Good job. So he was a little bit off because the bees hit him kind of late, but he managed to make it. And if you don't make the loading zone after a certain amount of time, you know you've missed it, and it gets really hard to find out where to go from there. There's a backup, but that costs a little bit of time to go for. And now Davey just collecting a couple of Jinjos to finish up Click Clock Wood here, and hopefully Dick can manage to get it as well. He got the damage, and he's making his way to Mumbo's. See if he can get into the loading zone. And Dick makes it as well.
Very nice. They both got
Good
it. That's
job. And
So
Davey
you can just
clipping out of
clip
the
right out
beehive.
there. So that should be everything for Davey after this jiggy here. Got 10 layer jiggies. See how many notes he has.
900.
He's got 900. So he should have everything now. And we head to Furnace Fun. The funnest part of the run.
Now, unfortunately, Dick would be ahead right now if his game didn't crash. That's just so unfortunate for him. So it's going to come down to Furnace Fun for both of these guys. If Davey messes up, then Dick has a chance to get ahead. Davey can mess up. He can get unlucky. These Joker questions are really useful because they give you a skip, and you want to use them on the timer questions. However, they are random, and you can get a grunny question on a Joker, and if you are unlucky, you pretty much just have to die and try again.
Dick also has everything, so...
We got 100%. Now we just gotta go fight Grunty. Alright. Oh no, he got a Grunty question.
No.
Oh.
Hopefully he has enough patterns that he'll get this.
He got it right. Oh, he is
Nice.
so lucky. Whew.
So he should be close to having the pattern now.
Wow. Yep. So he got one question wrong, and he hopefully has eliminated a lot of possible patterns.
Okay. So they're both in Furnace Fun now. Anything can happen. So they're using these jokers to skip those mini games.
The death questions here will instantly kill you if you get them wrong, and they also go from the entire question pool, so he can get a grunny question on the death score as well. Okay, so he's got a bit of an easier question. Obviously, it's Aqualung the dolphin. Davey having a bit
Oh,
of
Davey's
trouble.
still having running issues.
Alright, he makes it through. He's probably got his pattern at this point. So Dick is only a couple questions behind you now. This is really close, guys. This could, oh man, anything could happen. This is going to
completely caught up in this Furnace Fun.
Yeah, he did. Davey getting unlucky with the
So it's
grunny
gonna,
pattern.
if they both get this skip, it's gonna come down to the grunny fight.
So now these death questions normally knock you right off into the lava, but if you stand in a certain spot on this one death square coming up, you actually get knocked onto the, knocked back onto the board, and you can just run right across. Davey getting another question wrong. Wow, okay.
Oh, he must have messed up his calculator.
Uh-oh. Okay, he's alright. He's got to get the skip now. He's got to set up the skip. I think that looks okay. Alright, he gets knocked back onto the board. He jumps across.
And he got it.
And now he can just run to the end, skip the fake credits, and head right over to Grunny. And Dick gets it as well.
Nice.
So he is only about 20 seconds behind Davey after this crazy race, guys. So it's going to come down to the fight. And we'll see if... Davey has a lot of feathers, so he really shouldn't be going for the feather... the feather refill here. Is Dick gonna go for Door Grunny skip to catch up? Nope. Alright, Davey. Getting the egg refill. You need almost 50 for this fight. And he's gonna go for the tech skip, gets it on Dingpot. And now this fight is about 4 phases. The first phase, he's got to hit Grunny with 4 eggs as she's swooping down to him. And he's got 4 health, so he can take a bit of damage, but he's still got to be careful. And using that Beak Bust recoil to...
Davey chose to not refill his feathers. He should easily have enough, but you never know. You can mess up these beak bombing sections pretty easily.
Alright, now he's got a shooter with 3 eggs on each of the sides of the arena.
Pretty close race.
Alright, this is a battle for the semifinals, guys. So this is just down to the fight, down to the wire.
Ooh.
And Davey gets the eggs pretty well. Now he's got to cancel the text here and get the flight pad to spawn up. Now, hopefully this doesn't mess up his beak bombs. He beak bombed over past her.
This could be some trouble for Davey here. He's falling behind now.
Ooh, okay, he gets the beak bomb. And now he's got to lead his shot here. Good. Dick getting the first one just fine. Davey missing his third one.
Oh no.
Oh, he missed again. Now he's at 1 health.
He got hit.
Really scary.
This is really
scary, guys. All right, go for the beak bomb. You got it. All right. Now Dick caught up. Oh.
Dick.
Now Davey's got to be really careful here. He doesn't want to die. Now this is going to come to the Jinjo skip. Dick's going to try to poop eggs into this Jinjo statue as it's spawning. Now if he gets this, he gets an even more significant lead. Those might be a little bit off. No, he got it.
Nice. So now you just gotta hope that he doesn't soft block, though. Soft block.
Oh my god. This is by far the closest race we've had this tournament, and Davey getting the first Jinjo, but Dick is just flying through these Jinjo statues with these egg shots. And Dick entering the final phase. Now Grunny's going to start shooting fireballs at him, and he can't get hit or else it's going to restart the cycle. So he's got to be careful. And it looks like Dick has just clutched it out at the fight. Really impressive.
So all we got left now is pooping eggs into the Ginginator statue. But you've got to shoot through like 6 eggs into each side.
5, yeah.
Or 5.
Wow. And Dick finishing the run with a 2:15.24. 23 or 24, close somewhere around there. And Davey just
right behind him.
Unfortunately does not manage to do the flight section well and just loses quite a bit of time there. And Dick caught up and won by about 20 seconds.
What a great race.
Awesome race by both these guys. Dick managing to clutch it out at the end.
Even with all those issues.
2 engine room death, well, an engine room void out, an engine room death, and a crash on a loading zone, and a fall in Click Clock Wood as well. But great job to both these guys for displaying what this game has to offer. Just about every trick that's done in the world record was shown in this run.
There's a bunch of cool tricks that they were able to show off in this run. They both did a great job, and congrats to Dick for moving on.
Yep, Dick
also
makes
to
it
Davey
to the
for making
semifinals.
it a really close race.
Yeah, Davey, he finished actually only about 2.5 minutes behind his PB, so that he had a pretty good race. And this, again, guys, is just proof that, you know, really anything in a banjo race can happen. Engine room, Dick just had some trouble, and the unfortunate crash on the loading zone, which just almost never happens. But Davey persisting, playing it safe, and just unfortunately managing to just make a couple mistakes in the grunny fight and falling just short.
What a
great
really
job.
Race.
And glad we were able to commentate. That was a really fun race to watch.
And me and Hyper Renaissance will be commentating along with Dickhiskhan at the SGDQ Banjo Run coming up next month. So make sure you tune into that also.
Yep. Yeah, if the runners want to do an interview, I'm down to do an interview.
I want to know what was going through Dick's mind when he went through Rusty Bucket Bay.
Oh man. Dick did really, like, besides the one fall, Click Clock Wood, he played pretty much out of his mind. Got an instant spring clip. He got the winter clips. He didn't make any mistakes in summer. Hello,
hey.
Sir. Congratulations. That was one hell of a race.
Insane. Is my mic okay? Because
yes.
Okay, my mic's working on Discord, but not on my stream. My mic, okay. I'm in fucking shock. I am in shock right now. I'm having that was the most intense I've ever felt on any PB attempt or anything. My heart was
did you think you were gonna win there? Or?
No. Well, honestly, going into the grunty fight when people were saying we were only like 10 seconds, 15 seconds apart, it crossed my mind to go for dog skip.
I was actually like, oh, I wonder if he's going to go for dog skip to catch up.
I was thinking about it for sure, but then I was like, you know what? Like, what if I just pull out a perfect grunty fight? I don't think Davey will. And I did.
Yeah, that was Man, like, despite all the crap that happened to you in Rusty Bucket Bay, you just played
How
really
were you
well in Click
feeling
Clock
in
Wood.
Rusty
Besides the
Bucket Bay?
one fall, like you had just about a flawless Click Clock Wood. Besides
Yeah,
that,
besides falling in autumn, that Click Clock Wood was. My split stopped working too because I accidentally must have hit pause timer, and
oh,
I paused the timer in RBB, so I just reset my splits because then my time's all fucked. But I guess I could have kept it going to try to get gold splits because I have a feeling I might have gotten 3 gold splits.
you probably could
Yeah.
go rewatch the
Yeah.
VOD and then compare it to the timer on the left
Yeah.
for some segments if you want.
I'm positive Spring 1 was gold, and I'm positive.
You got the
Spring
clip
2 was gold.
instantly.
Yeah, that was you had a really nice Click Clock Wood other than that fall.
Yeah, it was nice.
That spring
It was
clip
all I
was
could do
super
to try to
fast.
come back from my
Yeah.
from dying
You,
twice
you
in my
came
game.
back a lot in Click Clock Wood.
Oh boy, I'm so happy I'm not out of the tournament, man.
That
I was
was
like, I'm gonna be out of the tournament
that was
early. and
crazy.
People want to see me make it all the way, I'm sure. So I'm happy I didn't let them down.
That was a sick void out in engine room.
Dude, I was so stoked. I was like, I don't even care that I got the dopest void out, probably the first ever recorded in a race.
Yeah, you
Saved
got
shit
us.
tons
You
of
gave us a
time.
chance to commentate on it, which was cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, I nailed the void out. This is the best. And then I fucking got knocked off again. Like, what the fuck, engine room? I didn't even think that my inputs were that bad, but I'm sure I pushed A too late now that I think about it.
And then it sucked that you soft locked, or you just
Crash. I don't know
Crash.
what that was.
I think that my N64 might be seeing the end of its days because I
I'm-
lost a PB and TUI
Yeah.
the other day from it as well.
I've had that happen to me also, where it just fails the load on a loading zone. So
Well,
Where did you
None.
where did you crash in Tui?
I was the washing machine, and I was doing hundo, so I was the washing machine getting all the dirty bunnies, and it was on the floor with Humba Wumba. I think it's floor 2. And I was just jumping as the washing machine, and then the game froze. The music stopped too, so I think it was like I just feel like my N64 must be having issues because that's 2 game freezes in like 3 days.
I think that's not a game freeze. That was just a fail to load the next area. I've had that happen where you go into a loading zone and it just doesn't load.
Yeah, maybe. But damn, dude, like, I'm really happy I didn't give up or lose my adrenaline to try to make a comeback because it's like it was really hard for me to keep my morale up, knowing that I had to turn off and on my N64, go to the cauldron that takes you to the fucking Freeze Easy Peak lobby area, like, and then swim all the way back to Rusty Bucket Bay just to start the level again. That's far worse than just dying in engine room. So
Yeah.
And then
But
you failed
you just caught up
lifeboat
so
jump,
much in Click
and
Clock
then
Wood.
you could just you could feel that you were just frustrated.
yeah, when I failed lifeboat jump, I was like, that I lost. Good job, Davey. Honestly though, like, Davey could have won that. Davey almost deserved to win that just based on my mumbos and TTC.
You guys were pretty close. Like I think leaving Nipper, you guys were basically tied, and then he caught up to you on the flight section, and then
Because that's where I landed that beak bomb on the way back from the
And then
honeycomb.
Yep.
and then you caught up back again in Clankers when you made the bolt cycle. He didn't, so you were actually ahead of him, leaving the pink Jinjo in Clankers. And then you caught up quite a bit in Bubble Gloop. Got a
did?
pretty decent lead in both Gobies and Mad Monster Mansion. And your FP was really good. That might have even almost been a gold for you, huh?
It was close. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was close to gold, but there must have been like something. My Sir Slush weren't like really tight. I think I took them a bit slow, and then I kind of got trolled a little bit in the tree by a termite. There was
Okay.
little things that cost me a few seconds, so I think that's why it wasn't gold. But it
You
Okay.
almost fell off the snowman.
The scarf though. What happened on the scarf? Like you were so
Yeah.
close to falling down.
that probably attributed to it not being gold too, because I used the gold feather, I guess, there.
That was just. Oh my god, I don't even know what happened. Did you do a mid-air jump, or did you just kind of slide back on?
I think I slid back on, luckily, because you and I both know that part of the scarf you can't stand on.
Right.
So if I had walked onto it, I wouldn't have been able to walk back on. It was like a slide on and off movement. I think I was mashing all sorts of buttons, ended up canceling talent trot and using a gold feather.
Yeah, so you just barely had enough height to slide back on. That would have been... Yeah, Davey would have caught up quite a bit
I think I
there.
would have died.
I
had full health.
No, you wouldn't. No, because you had like 7 health at that point.
I had full health, yeah.
You would have been fine.
Yeah, you would have been okay.
But that's one of those things. Could have been the difference between Davey winning. Obviously, when the race is 20 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah, and then Davey, he missed winter clip, the first winter clip once, so that also was a factor towards the end.
What's interesting is I think missing first winter clip once is actually faster than failing second winter clip.
It is, because you have that backup, but I think that still was probably about the difference in the final
That's
time.
the difference, right? I mean,
really,
I
right
don't know.
there.
Davey dot-dunned about 19 or 20 seconds after me, and I dot-dunned immediately. I don't know. If he was tight with his dot-done, then it was a 20-second difference in the end.
I think his was a 2:15, 23, 24, and yours was a 2:15, 40. Or sorry, you were 23 or 24. Yeah, sorry, you were 23 or 24, and he was a 40, 41.
Oh yeah, Davey also struggled with the leaf jump too.
Dude, I did leaf jump like a fucking... I don't know why mine worked. I was facing the leaf when I backflipped. It was funny. But it worked first try. I lost the run to leaf jump, dude. Dude, Davey, you lost the run to any 20 seconds you lost. It was a 20-second difference, and I mean, it's insane that I kind of handed it to him on a silver platter there, but
It would have been a pretty good run if he had a better Rusty Bucket Bay.
Yeah.
Davey's thing did
Davey's desynced.
Really?
Davey, yeah. I was
Got the
looking at it and I was
desync,
I noticed, I was like, that doesn't seem quite right, and
That's insane.
it sure did desync. That's
Something
funny.
didn't look quite right about that.
I'm gonna watch the stream. So he's in Shark Bait Cove or whatever?
Yeah.
Yep. Shark
Oh,
Food Island or whatever.
Shark Food Island, yeah. That's funny. Does he just walk? Oh, because it's the one that Pixel showed before, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
It's
dude.
the one that people have desynced for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that run was so roller coaster because there were a lot of good moments that people probably didn't notice. Like Bubba Gloop was really good for me, and Mad Monster was really good for me, and Freezing
Yeah.
Peak. Obviously, Mumbos and TTC were ass, but Clankers was okay. I missed two cycles, I think, and that's about it. But Davey did do very well. I mean, for a race that was supposed to be extremely one-sided, he really held his own. Getting a 2:15 for Davey's pretty good. Because his PB is a 2:13, so
Yep.
not a bad race time. I think that's a race PB for Davey.
Yeah, Davey really didn't make any major mistakes in the run. That winter clip was one of the more costly ones, and then not getting leaf jump. But
aside from that fall in autumn, I would say that was most likely the best click clock.
And he did
The
lose
most tight click clock I've
a
ever
lot
done.
of time. He missed 3 beak bombs in the fight.
Oh, and Grunty fight.
Yeah, he missed
Yeah.
three
He had a
beak
beak
bombs
bomb
and the skip, the Jinjo skip.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why you were able to catch
Dude,
up to him in the
I
fight.
don't know how I got that Jinjo cutscene skip. I did not end up in the place I wanted to be when I pooped the eggs. And
Yeah.
I was pooping them at an angle, praying, and I think the last one went in to make it so that 3 went in. I think I pooped 7 eggs, and 3 went in, and the last one was the 3rd one. So if I missed the cutscene skip, Davey would have lost by 5 seconds, right?
Just about.
So that's even more insane.
Right as your game fades out, the end appears on Davey's stream. That's pretty crazy. What a race.
Yeah. Does Davey want to jump in or?
I guess not. He's just kind of chatting in the chat. So
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me commentate, and it was fun.
Cool.
Thanks
race.
everybody for watching, and congratulations, Dick, for moving on to the next
The
round.
semis.
So Dick is gonna play against the winner of Haganator versus King KC.
That will be an interesting race, also.
Yep,
Yeah,
both.
actually,
Tune in for that
Got
one.
to be close because
King has a 209 and Hag has a 208, so that also is a really close PBs there.
Anything
they're
can
both
happen.
very equal in skill level at this point. They're really, really, really equal in skill level. It's like the most equal it gets. I would say I'm probably a little bit worse than Hag and King, and them two are like really close in skill level.
Yeah,
So that's gonna be
Hag's
an
had a
insane race.
54 gobies before, I believe.
Yeah, he said
which
he got
is-
like 5440 go.
Which is like really, really good.
Yeah, and that was recently. And King recently got his 209. Like everybody left in the tournament is like pretty much on the grind for some kind of goal right now. So like as much as it didn't really show,
Except
in
for maybe,
today's.
I mean, Esper doesn't play too often, but he did get a PB the other day, I believe.
Either yesterday or today, wasn't it?
216, yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll play against Stiv, and then Secret Humor Man will be against our Obliterator.
All right,
The
yeah,
other
well,
side of the bracket.
I'm beat, so I'm going to
Yeah.
not only get out of here, but also end my stream. I might come back online later, but I'm going to take a little breather.
All right. Well, yep. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys later. Maybe I'll commentate for another one in the future. And
Okay.
up next looks like is Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Ah,
See ya.
see ya.